Welcome back. After months of back and forth, Elon Musk wants to now back out of a $44 billion deal with Twitter. But Twitter wants Musk to hold up his end of the deal. The company sued him on Tuesday in a Delaware court. Our 9 News legal expert, Whitney Trailer, joins us now to break this all down. Whitney, it's just the latest in the Twitter-Musk drama that's been going on.
Yeah, this is the latest, and actually a lawsuit was filed. So Twitter actually filed against Elon Musk saying, look, you have to go through with the deal.
And can they force a deal?
Well, that's what the courts are for.
Yeah.
And so essentially, this is in a Delaware court, the Court of Chancery, which is where there's a lot of these types of cases. So they're used to that kind of thing. There's a lot of case law. And so what will happen is they filed saying, look, we had this deal, you got to go forward with it. He's saying, well, no, because you're saying there's only about 5% of your accounts that are bots or whatever, and he thinks it's much more than that, which would give him a right out of the contract. And so that's what he's kind of pushing towards, and they're saying, no, that's not the case, first of all, and secondly, we're far enough in the contract that you're bound at this point.
Yeah, and who has the stronger argument here?
It's a good question. Honestly, I think I would say probably Twitter, because he's saying that, he's, and this is every contract. There's letters of intent, and then there's, phases of the contracts. And when there's these big mergers and acquisitions, there's a lot of phases companies have to go through. They have to provide documentation, due diligence. But there's always ways out of the contract throughout different stages if they don't do this or if they haven't met this. Well, I don't think those circumstances are present here. I think that at this stage, it looks like he should be bound to it. Now, what could happen is they could settle. The court could actually issue a ruling where he has to give up, more of his stock. So there's a number of things that can happen, but Twitter does have the stronger position.
It does seem late in the game, and we don't really know what the terminology was in those specific contracts, but has there been a case like this before that maybe set precedents?
Yes, there has actually been. There's been several cases where a Delaware court, I can't remember. I think it was Nestle. There was a couple
I know, I
major...
put you on the spot.
Sorry. Yeah, no, but it's actually a good, because we're talking about precedent.
Right.
And so many companies actually incorporate in Delaware because they have that body of law. And recently the court said, no, there were cases where they said you had to go forward and do the deal. What they did do, though, was they actually reduced the price. So at this point, he's buying it for $54.60 a share. Some experts are saying that maybe they can get that between 40 and 50 through case law and, through the litigation.
What's the likelihood that this gets settled outside of court?
That's a strong likelihood for a number of reasons, because the only people who are going to benefit from this are the lawyers, because this will be expensive. And he actually has a provision, Elon Musk, that if he prematurely withdrew from the contract, he could have $1 billion sort of punitive damage aspect. Right.
Okay.
So some people are saying he might actually try and do that and get out with $1 billion, but he's, posting and laughing at Twitter. And
I know. He's got the money to spare.
Right,
right?
exactly.
He's got $1 billion like that.
But there were like 30 billion of this deal was from 2 different banks. And that's where they're going to start putting some pressure on, because the banks are also, in the deal. He only had about 13 billion of his own, only 13 billion.
Only 13 billion, right? We're just talking like it's regular dollars, right?
It's no big deal.
All right, Whitney, thank you as always.
All right, good to be here.
Let's check the weather now.